monsters.
It's more than a specific place or a group of people. In the Line of Duty breaks down barriers across all first responders, and crews are showing up in North Idaho to hold the line for firefighters still grieving. We're about a month from teachers welcoming students back to class to start the school year. But will everyone be welcome here? Well, they'll be allowed to make it known in at least one school district.
The path is going to go along that direction.
One man has big plans for this patch of dirt. He not only wants to build a park, but a tribute to peace and his late wife. They say in the fire service, you're never really off duty. Evidenced by what happened today when 70 firefighters from across Idaho and beyond answered a call that didn't come from dispatch. They packed their gear, left their own families and cities, and drove hundreds of miles to put in hours in an unfamiliar station, just so their brothers in Coeur d'Alene could sit beside caskets instead of sitting inside fire engines. Hunter Funk looks at what went into this shift trade and how the weight of service isn't just carried on shift, but in silence.
We committed ourselves as of this last Monday, put a bunch of plans to the side super last minute, and left Wednesday morning to drive up to Coeur d'Alene from southern Idaho.
They pulled in just before dark, some driving an hour, others closer to 10. Not to put out a fire, but to hold the line.
They had all covering resources meet at Kootenai County Training Center. And so we met with their respective administrations and ops chiefs and communications experts, and they kind of just gave us a training on what to expect, what's the plan, how their systems work.
Twin Falls Fire Captain Kyle Eldridge is one of more than 70 firefighters from around the state, now covering 48-hour shifts in Kootenai County, so those who usually would work can grieve.
Sending 70 firefighters up to cover 3 departments is unprecedented. I don't think it's happened in the country ever before. It's the least we can do for this community.
One Coeur d'Alene firefighter and one Kootenai County firefighter were killed in an ambush last week. Today is their memorial. Eldridge is at the very station where the fallen firefighters served. Same chairs, same walls, same call tones.
We're covering the crew that was involved. So it's like they all came in and talked to us about it, and it's super emotional. Like it's been kind of a tough day, right? To just come up and learn all this information and then just get the emotional bombshell from those guys. Like it's tough. It's something I don't wish on anyone, really. Like, yeah, it's kind of hard not to get choked up a few times today.
Eldridge says no amount of training prepared them for what happened, but showing up for a family in uniform may be the most important thing they'll ever learn.
It's an honor and a privilege to come help these brothers up north when they're hurting, but it's also sombering. My heart reaches out, and I think that not only in the firefighter community, but just the Idaho community as well, our hearts go out to these guys and what they're going through.
And the 70 fire crews will return home in 2 days. As for the firefighter who was injured in that ambush, he has a long road to recovery, but is now stable in the Kootenai Health Medical Center in the ICU.
Yeah, he's making, as you said, a long road to recovery.
Yeah.
My question is, strangers in a strange land. These guys go up there, maybe not know the area very well. How does that play out?
Yeah, so that night before that they all came in, so yesterday, that's when they got together. They were talking through the communications portions of things, what their new systems are, right? Because everybody uses a different system. And then the other interesting fact that Eldridge was mentioning was the fact that they took 3 of the Twin Falls guys and put them together. So you still have some of the partnerships that you're used to. Yeah, so your driver, your captain, you've got them all kind of put together. And then the firefighters who, can kind of be a little bit more flexible and answer to the captain's call is a little bit easier there.
At least they know where they're going and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
It's going to be tougher for sure.
Yeah, hopefully everything works out for them. All right, thank you very much, Hunter. Well, Idaho's latest laws limiting flags and banners don't seem to be carrying the weight they were supposed to, even with the state's top law enforcement official offering up his 2 cents by saying, just do it because I said so. Attorney General Raul Labrador sent a strongly worded letter to Boise and Bonners Ferry, telling them to take down their pride flag and their Canadian flag because, well, House Bill 96 forbids it. Both still fly outside the respective city halls. And when asked specifically by the State Department of Education whether school teachers should be allowed to put up an "Everyone is welcome here" poster, given the vague guidance of House Bill 41, Labrador said no, they shouldn't, calling these posters, quote, part of an ideological social movement, end quote, without really sufficiently explaining how. Well, today, the Boise School District is following the lead of the Boise mayor and not following the suggestion of the Attorney General. Joe Paris joins me now. And Joe, we've been wondering what the Boise School District might do with this guidance and opinion since it became public last week. I guess now we know.
Yeah, it was an interesting statement and memo that went out today. And long story short, the Boise School District says today they support educators that want to share that message, "Everyone is welcome," in a physical format inside their classroom. In a memo that went out to staff today, the Boise School District says, quote, "The 'Everyone is welcome here' sign affirms a foundational principle of public education that every student, regardless of their background, is legally entitled to dignity, respect, and a sense of belonging in their school community. The sign is a reaffirmation," they say, "of their legal and ethical obligation to provide an educational environment free from discrimination." They go on to write clearly, quote, "Everyone is welcome here is the law. It is not a political statement." Boise School District adds in terms of the actual display in a classroom that while the guidance provided by the State Department of Education implies that the sign would not be allowed, they say they will continue to support teachers who choose to display it in their classroom. They do concede, though, in their memo and the email to parents that many other flags and banners, including the pride flag, for example, they're not allowed under the new law. However, they're encouraging their staff, who is going to be working through this, they're wanting them to make their space, their classrooms, feel safe and welcoming for all students, and to reach out to the principal or the district administration for advice if they need so. Well, what happens, though, when eventually a parent will disagree with the "Everyone is welcome here" poster? By statute, the Department of Education has been tasked with enforcement of the law, and to that end, they say they have created a special complaint form that concerned students, parents, or community members can use. And if, upon investigation, the department finds a violation of the law, they will work with the local education agency to remedy the situation. Back to school is a very fun time, but I know that there are definitely teachers that for the first time heading back into a classroom, some that have been in the same ones for decades, they're going to have to literally go through every single inch of their classroom and make sure they're not in violation.
Some of them have already been doing that. I understand that. I did reach out to Sarah Inama, the West Ada teacher that left West Ada School District because they wanted her to take down her poster, who now has a job in the Boise School District. She's elated with this decision by the Boise School District and very excited to get her school year started there. So I would say, though, this isn't much of a surprise.
Right.
Because back in March, we saw this with the Boise School District posting a picture on social media that looks like this. All of them wearing the shirts, their staff, their directors, wearing the shirts that say "Everyone is welcome here." This is, of course, after this story came out on March 24th. So it's really not much of a surprise that this is the stance the Boise School District is taking. Also, not really a whole lot of teeth to this law, much like the other law that Boise, the city of Boise, is standing behind.
And we've heard from Idaho lawmakers about the flags on public property, what you're referring to, about them coming back and doing some type of an enforcement mechanism. Again, with the posters up in the classrooms conversation, it'll be interesting if there would be another conversation about, I guess, tightening the enforcement mechanism in terms of it. Right now, it's the Department of Education. It was given to them here. I guess, figure out how to take it down.
Yeah.
What if someone doesn't want to take it down? It's unclear what happens from there.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Thanks, Joe. Today marks 10 years since an Eastern Idaho boy went missing, a case that has left his family with more questions than answers. Plus, crews are hoping to keep a wildfire from becoming a full-blown beast. Here's today's 411.
We're learning more about a quadruple homicide that happened over multiple counties in the Magic Valley earlier this week. The victims were found in both Minidoka and Cassia counties. And Burley man Benjamin Naylor is now in custody, charged in all 4 deaths. Officers were first called to a home in Rupert about 3:30 on Tuesday afternoon. There, they found a woman, identified as Angelica Medina, dead with at least 1 gunshot wound. A few hours later, investigators responded to a home in Burley after receiving reports that 2 people there were shot. When officers arrived, they found a 66-year-old man dead in the living room and a 62-year-old woman dead in a closet found at the back of the house. Officers then found a fourth victim, now identified as Dennis Mix, dead at the Hub Plaza gas station in Hayburn, Idaho. All 4 victims were shot and killed. Naylor has been charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. The investigation continues, and Naylor is currently being held without bond. Today marks a decade since a precious little boy disappeared from the Lemhi County campground. The mystery around Dior Coons Jr.'s disappearance drew intense scrutiny, captivated the nation, and has left his family living a nightmare for the last 10 years. 4 years after Dior Coons Jr. disappeared, KTVB spoke with the last 3 people known to see Dior alive. You can watch that special coverage right now on KTVB+. Crews are working to contain a wildfire burning near Bigfoot Butte. It's called the Bigfoot Fire. Bureau of Land Management says it burned nearly 140 acres, but fire crews have stopped it from actively spreading. BLM expects it to be completely contained by 6 p.m. tonight and controlled by tomorrow night. Looking for something fun to do on Friday night? Front Street Fights is making a return to KTVB Plus this Friday at 7 p.m. You can watch Front Street Fights 32 on KTVB Plus for free live coverage, and you can download KTVB Plus on your TV and watch for free. Front Street Fights 32, Friday, 7 o'clock, live from downtown Boise. With your 411 on the 208, I'm Joe Paris.
She was always in service to her neighbors, and all of us can be that way. So we want to celebrate that as well.
One man hopes to honor his wife's memory by creating a place of peace in a piece of nature in Boise. Well, this is the time to let us know what you think about the 208. We'll take your text messages if they're short, sort of sweet, and smart, but we'll take snarky too. Contribute to the conversation at 208-321-5614. Include your name and the hashtag #the208. Oh, and stick around. We could share yours at the end of the show. The city of Boise is known for its trees, yes, but also its parks. There's the goal of having a park or open space within a 10-minute walk from everyone in their home, highlighted by the ribbon of jewels. The 11 city parks along the Boise River connected by the Greenbelt. They're all named after women in honor of their contribution to the city. Well, there's another proposed park just downriver from the rest of that ribbon that hopes to be one day considered to be one of the jewels in that ribbon. And today, we got a tour of what one man hopes will one day become the Wetland Peace Preserve. There's a sliver of land just south of the Willow Lane softball fields that appears neglected.
It looks like a wasteland. It looks like a field of weeds.
For years, a receptacle of rubbish. But one man's mission
Let's go this way.
is to make this space flourish. Yeah, let's take a look.
Okay, so a big circular plaza, and it's going to come off here, and then the path, the peace path is what I call it, is going to take a right because the conservation easement starts right in here.
John Lodell's idea
So just beyond this sign going that direction, no development is allowed.
Is to turn this field of weeds into a park of peace.
This is a great wetland. So the main star here at the WPP is going to be the wetland. We're going to leave most of it alone.
Using only 5% of this 18-acre parcel between the Greenbelt and the Boise River, John hopes to create the Wetland Peace Preserve, complete with pathways, peace poles, and a 21,000-pound sandstone centerpiece.
Did you see the peace sign?
Yeah.
That's going to be in the concrete.
The point is to celebrate peace, but also the citizens of the City of Trees.
I think Boise is extremely generous and a very collaborative town. We want to celebrate that. We don't all vote the same way, but we do our best to get along and to find common ground. And this is a light touch development that is meant to celebrate that kind of behavior.
John says they actually started this project about 5 years ago by planting nearly 1,200 native plants.
Yeah, this is some of the stuff we planted in 21 and 22.
The best part?
Where's your favorite spot?
I'll show you. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
Is the Peace Preserve won't keep people from accessing the places they already do. It will actually encourage it.
The main reason we come here is just for him to get a 30-minute exhausted, go home, put him inside. He smells terrible.
Which is why Grace and Moose are good with a new park.
As long as it stays off leash, that's like my only big please for the dogs.
And if it does?
Yeah, that would be amazing if it's off leash.
Well, that's the plan, but only if they can raise the $700,000 to build it. And they're about halfway there, thanks to John kicking in $300,000 himself, because this pursuit of peace is also personal.
It's my version of a Taj Mahal, honoring my late wife. I lost her to cancer on Halloween 2019.
John hopes to put Pam's name in the park logo to honor her service to her community.
She was always in service to her neighbors. And all of us can be that way. So we want to celebrate that as well. I miss her, but if she was here, she'd go, "What are you doing? You're building a park with my name on it. What do you think you're doing?" Well, yeah, I'm going to do that, and that's why I'm writing checks of that magnitude. And we are hoping to inspire others that. Serving your hometown, being in service to your own home community is something that all of us can do.
Well, John told us his goal is to someday get the Wetland Peace Preserve added to the Boise River Greenbelt Ribbon of Jewels, as we mentioned, by emphasizing his late wife's service to the community. But first, they have to build it. And before Boise Parks and Rec will let them even start on that part of it, John tells us they need to raise the money. So if you'd like to help make this Peace Preserve a reality, we will have a link to their website in this story on our website at ktvb.com.
Well, storms came through strong last night, but they were very quick and they did not give us much time to see a lot of rainfall. In fact, Boise, one of the cities that saw more rainfall, only saw 3/100ths of an inch of precipitation measured at the Boise airport. Ontario saw a trace, and then other cities like McCall, Emmett, Twin Falls all saw zero, nothing, no measurable rainfall, that is. And now, of course, we don't have measuring stations everywhere, but generally there was just not a lot of moisture to the system yesterday overall. Today, we are already starting to dry out as we head into the weekend. 87 degrees. The main concern today has been the winds so far. Looks like it's 80s around most of the region. A couple spots in the Treasure Valley have made it to 90 so far, like Mountain Home, Ontario at 92. And then most other areas are in the 80s. McCall only at 75. Looking from up above at our satellite and radar view, you can see that there's not much happening in the region. That's a good sign because earlier today we did see some smoke on our satellite and radar. Now, those winds were kind of blowing some smoke into our area, making our skies a little hazy. A lot of that smoke coming from Northern California wildfires was impacting visibility a little bit. Right now, it doesn't seem to be impacting visibility too much. Maybe Mountain Home and Nampa having a little bit of decreased visibility, but everywhere else seems to be okay for the most part. That being said, we still are having strong wind gusts or relatively strong wind gusts. Wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour have been ongoing today, and they will probably continue for a couple more hours. Now tomorrow, hopefully winds die down a little bit. Gusts are about 20 miles per hour anticipated tomorrow. If winds do continue through the weekend, however, they could continue to push more smoke into the area. So hopefully winds look like they're dying down little by little as we get closer and closer to the weekend, but still expect breezy conditions at least through tomorrow. Magic Valley will warm up tomorrow, as will most areas around the region. Looking at upper 80s, low 90s in the Magic Valley. Mountains, probably 70s or 80s for the most part. However, West Central Mountains have a couple areas that could see 90s, like Garden Valley at 91, as well as Council there. Lower Treasure Valley going to be one of the warmer locations. Emmett, Weiser, and Ontario anticipating 95 degrees tomorrow. And then for the Upper Treasure Valley, it's going to be pretty close to what we see on average. Boise expecting 91 degrees. Our average right now for this time of year is 92, so not too far off from what is standard right now as we get closer and closer to the middle of July. Again, breezy conditions tomorrow, hopefully not as strong as tonight. Despite those winds tonight, though, should be a pretty enjoyable evening to head outside if you would like to do so. It is going to be the coolest afternoon tonight that we see for the next 7 days, as we're looking at 90s for the entire week ahead.
All right, starting on Monday, guess what? We're going to have 2 extra hours of Wake Up Idaho coming your way. We'll be live streaming weekdays from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. That's 4 hours of Wake Up Idaho. You can join us on KTVB Plus for even more headlines, weather, and traffic. To watch KTVB Plus, just have to download it on your TV, and you can watch it for free.
Getting my high school diploma made me feel like I can do anything. Now I can help the kids in my community achieve their dreams.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near.
Welcome back. Brad in Boise says his father and he served in the fire service for 56 straight years in Boise. Everything in our family was built around the brotherhood, the camaraderie, the community of the fire service. You live with and are attached at the hip with coworkers for 24 hours at a whack and count on each other with your lives. My heart aches for the brothers and sisters up north for their last alarm. Kudos to the Boise School District in supporting the Everyone is Welcome Here message. I hope they stick to their guns because the haters will surely come after them. We love the 208 program. Keep it coming. That's Doug and McCall. Kudos, more kudos to Boise School District for doing the right thing. At least one school district in the state has integrity, says Tammy in Star. That one went away. We got another one that says, hold on one second. We got some technical difficulties. Bring it back. There it is. One more time. Skipping ahead. Here it is. If the Boise School District supports teachers who choose to display the All Are Welcome Here sentiment, why is it not mandatory? Well, it's what they decorate their classroom with. And that's what it's all about. And if a teacher decides they're going to choose to do that, they can. It's not mandatory. We'll see you tomorrow.
Continue with us and watch free now on the KTVB Plus app everywhere you stream.